Rob, now you've just watched the Proteas play the UAE ball for ball. What did you make of that 146-run win? It looks like a lot of the batsmen around AB de Villiers finally got some runs, but probably still not really hitting their straps.
Yeah, they look a sort of a nervous side. It was a sort of, if I was to give it a score out of 10, I'd give the Proteas maybe a sort of a 6.5, which I'd think is a little bit disappointing against the UAE. You'd think that they'd be capable of really smashing the United Arab Emirates. I thought the UAE didn't look too bad at times. I think a lot of the sort of second-tier countries have shown quite a lot of guts. And sometimes they've shown good technical ability at this World Cup as well. And there were times during the match when they sort of, they gave as good as they got. They gave a little bit of a walloping to people like Dale Steyn and Vernon Philander, which was a little bit of a comeuppance for guys like that who aren't used to sort of just being straight driven, thump back down the track, which happened a few times and will be a little bit of a concern. Dale Steyn went back to looking a little bit out of sorts again. But I still would back him to sort of come back potentially, hopefully in the quarter-final, which they're obviously they're completely guaranteed of a berth, and I still think
it looks like Sri Lanka.
It looks increasingly like Sri Lanka, unless there's absolute turn up for the books late in the sort of group phase. So a really tough battle to look forward to in Sydney, and South Africa will have to raise their game considerably if they're going to. In other words, they're not going to be able to have the luxury of playing like they did against the UAE, a slightly lethargic, erratic sort of performance, because we know that won't be enough against a pretty confident Sri Lankan side. But we mustn't get too sort of doom and gloomish. We must remember that generally speaking, you would back South Africa to beat Sri Lanka on conditions outside of the subcontinent.
Well, I mean, judging by the results against the other subcontinent sides like Pakistan and India, absolutely crumbled.
Yeah,
so
I know.
mean, I'm nervous. I don't know about you.
Yeah, you could say we're due to beat one of them, one of the subcontinent sides in Australasia. But a lot of improvement required. Still that issue around the balance of the side. It's almost been complicated by Farhan Behardien, the much maligned Farhan Behardien, putting in a pretty decent show, not only bowling a few reasonably tight overs, but also the way he finished off the innings with a bat. And you can say, oh, well, it was only the UAE, but the guys have still got to deliver, so give him some due. He did deliver on the day when they did need a little bit of a push just to get close to that 350 mark, when it looked like the innings might falter a little bit. So he's given them a bit of a headache in terms of really how to balance that side, but still lots of question marks around the Proteas, and that's a concern going into the knockout phase.